Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Monica, and this is my YouTube channel where we talk about fun stuff from things like immigrating to Australia, parenting, motherhood, and all the fun stuff that you can think of. Today guys, I have a visitor in my channel and I'm going to let her introduce herself to you, and then we'll take it from there. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming and honoring my invite.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so honored that you've accepted my invite to come to my channel so that we can discuss stuff that we're going to discuss. So I'll let you introduce yourself and tell my viewers your name, where you come from, and when you came to Australia.
Hi guys, my name is Pamela Kariuki. I come from Kenya, of course, Embu County, in a very small village called Karambari. Yeah, and I came in Australia in 2018.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Pamela, for accepting my invite. So, Pamela, I would like to know, what did you come to do in Australia when you came first?
Yeah, so like many other people, I came as a student. So I came to do my master's.
Yeah.
In education. I had done a bachelor's of education in Kenya,
Right.
and so I came here to do master's degree. Yeah, so student.
All right, nice.
Visa 500.
500. Okay, nice to hear. Now, which uni did you go to in Kenya so that we can shout out to your people?
KU.
Shout out to the people
KM.
from KU. Nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I was
yeah.
in Kenyatta University.
Yeah.
That's where I did my bachelor's in education,
Yes.
and then I came here to University of South Australia.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, good. Now, another question I have: when you came to Australia, how did you know first? How did you know about Australia? How did you get to come to Australia?
Funny enough, you know, when you're little and you're looking at pictures online and such stuff,
Yeah.
so I used to see pictures of Sydney, and you know, I always thought that was such a beautiful place.
Oh, wow.
And I hoped that I would come to Australia, but of course I did not know how I would make it here.
Yes, yes.
Coming from Karambari, and when I talk about Karambari, it's really far.
Oh,
Yes.
I can imagine. Yeah.
And so I didn't know how people go to Australia,
Yes.
or anywhere outside the country.
Yeah.
And so one day I was living in Riru,
Yes.
and one of our neighbors
Yeah.
left for Australia,
Yeah.
and I couldn't believe it. Like, somebody that I would see every day
is gone.
flew out.
Yes.
So that's the person we reached out to.
Yes.
His name is Abed.
Yeah.
So we called Abed, and yeah, the rest is history. That's how I came here.
Oh, wow. That's really lovely to hear.
Yes.
I would like to know, how was the journey? How was the process of you coming to relocating to Australia from the beginning to the end? Were there any challenges involved during the process?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course, there are so many challenges, especially the financial challenges. So, so I was directed to Education Center,
Yeah.
and I went there for a consultation meeting,
Yeah.
and they told me that I needed 5 million. 5 million to come to Australia.
When,
You know,
when is this? Which
That's
year is this?
2018, because they were talking about the school fees and the bank statement.
Okay,
You know,
okay,
so
okay.
you needed about 5 million to be here.
Yes.
After consulting, I was told that I required 5 million to come to Australia. That was inclusive of the tuition fee, the transport,
Yes.
and bank statement.
Yeah.
And so, knowing where I was coming from, it looked like mission impossible.
I know.
So I told my mom, the lady that I'm so lucky to call mom,
Yeah.
and my mom said, you know, if you want to go, you will go.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And so she gathered her friends, told them about my ambitions to come to Australia.
Yes.
And before I knew it, they were already planning for, you know, a harambe.
Harambe, yeah.
And yeah, and you know, people came.
Yes.
My mom is very generous.
Yeah.
And she does a lot of charity work.
Yeah.
And she's just a good woman.
Wow.
And so because she's been going to people's
Yeah.
functions, she's been there for people really came to that harambe.
Yeah.
And we got all the money that we needed
Did
to the
you?
last cent.
Did you?
So yes,
Wow, that's really
yes,
nice.
and
Yeah.
I had people giving me even as little as 50
Yeah.
shillings.
Yeah. And it goes
Like
along.
everybody,
Yeah.
you can think about, you know, the highest in the society to the lowest in the society
Yeah.
came to, you know,
Support
to
you.
support me to come to
Wow.
Australia. So I always say mine was a journey of grace and favor,
Yeah.
and people carried me here.
Yeah, they did.
Yes.
Wow, you have really nice people from your village. Wow, and I think what I got from that, you know, I've never told you you're also generous, and I can imagine then you got that from your mom because you also have a really good heart.
Yeah, my mom, if I can be a quarter of what she is,
Yeah,
I'll be a great woman. She's
You
a
are.
great lady.
Yeah.
And I thank God that, you know, I got to call her mom.
wow, yeah,
And I know I share her with so many people.
yeah. Oh, that's really nice.
Yes.
That's really nice to hear about your mom. Now, I want to know. Now you've come to Australia. You've landed in Australia. I want to know. Did you know anyone? How was you integrating in the community? Where did you stay? Did you know anyone to host you? Tell us about all that fun stuff.
Again, I'm a child of grace
Yes.
and favor.
Yeah.
That's what I like to refer myself to.
Yeah.
Yes. So you remember the friend that I talked about, the neighbor?
Yes. At Roiro.
So yes,
Yeah.
so he was already here with his family,
Yeah.
his wife, and they had a son that time.
Yeah.
And so when I started this process,
Yes.
you know, they offered to host me. So when I came to Australia, I
Yeah.
was received by those two,
Yes.
Abed and Grace. Thank you very much. I love you so much.
That's nice, yeah.
So they picked me from the airport, and I lived in their house until I got a job, and that's when I moved out.
Oh. You, Abed and Grace, I don't know you, but I think you're amazing.
They
people.
are.
That's really. You know, sometimes it's very difficult when you don't have anywhere to go when you
Yes.
just land in Australia.
Yes.
And once you get someone to just hold your hand, even if it's for a month or two, they really help you a lot.
Yeah, I just, you know, I try to fathom about people that come to Australia. They don't know anyone.
Yeah.
They land, and you know, maybe they're gonna just take a Uber
Yeah.
to somewhere they don't
They
know.
don't know.
It can be really hard.
Yeah, it can.
It can be really hard. So I'm so grateful that I didn't have to go through that
Yeah.
hardship. You know, when I arrived,
Yeah.
they took me through the process of, you know, applying for the TFNs, applying for the hairstyles.
Yes.
And so mine was a smooth journey.
Yeah.
So I really can't identify with people that have come here without, you know, anyone to receive them.
Yes.
Yeah, mine
yes.
was completely a
different.
different journey.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really nice to hear. Now another question I have for you. So now you've applied for everything, and you started school, I'm assuming. How are you managing to go to school, and I'm assuming you are working? How are you trying to juggle that over?
Are we even allowed to talk about that? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Being a student is the hardest part
I know.
of being here in Australia when you're an immigrant.
Yeah.
It's just tough
It is tough.
because you have to juggle between job, school,
School.
and you know, from where I come from, school is very important. So you also
Yes.
wanted to do well.
Yes.
So I would find myself, especially during the holidays,
Yeah.
working like double shifts,
Yes.
trying to get shifts as much as you can,
Yes.
so that you can also pay your school
Your school
fees.
fees, yeah.
And you also need, you know, you also need to live.
Yes.
you
You
know.
have bills to
So
pay.
it was really tough.
Yeah.
But by God's grace, I did very well. I graduated with the third highest GPA in in
Wow.
the University of South Australia. So
Wow,
I
that's really
think
nice,
it's the background where we come from. You have to work really hard,
Yes.
especially in education. My
Yes.
mom was a teacher. She's not a teacher.
Yeah.
My dad was also a teacher and a very strong academician. So
Yeah.
I come from a background where education is very, very important. So I had to do very, very well.
Wow.
Yes.
To be honest, when you talk about being a student, you know, sometimes people do not know the struggles that the students go through. And sometimes when she says that being a student is tough, some people get it wrong. They think we don't want others to come here, because I'm a content creator and I get this a lot. If I say life here is tough, people are like, oh, you don't want us to come here. But I love that you're telling them the reality. It is the reality. We cannot sugarcoat, because at the end of the day, if you don't tell them, you're not still helping them, right? Yeah. So I'm so glad that you went through that tough life and you came out victorious.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that means you're a
It
strong
was
woman.
very tough.
I
But,
know.
you know, yeah.
But now you're here.
We are here.
Oh, I love that. Now,
And everybody can make it.
yeah,
You know.
you can.
Yeah, it's also good to encourage the students that are here now. You know
Yeah,
that we've gone through it, we
Yes.
survived it,
indeed.
so you can also survive it.
Yeah.
I think that's a topic that we need to talk about next.
Next,
You know,
sure.
just to encourage kids
Yes.
and students that come here
Yeah.
not to give up.
No.
Yeah. So
Because-
many people are giving up when
Yeah.
they're not even halfway the journey.
No.
Yeah, so I think that's something that we need to talk about.
And again, I think what I think, life is not meant to be easy. Like, it's not easy. Like, there's struggles during the life, and we just need to be strong,
Yeah.
to never give up, and you'll be here like Karami. And now we want to hear about the fun stuff. All right. Now, Pamela, I want to know what course, which masters, you said you came to do a master's degree, which master's degree specifically did you come to do, and how long did it take you?
Yeah, so I came to study Masters of Education, TESOL.
Okay.
TESOL stands for Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages.
Oh.
Yes, so I had done Bachelor's of Education at KU. I
Yes.
had majored with English Lit. And so when I came here, I took up TESOL, and it took me 2 years.
Okay.
So from 2018 to 2020.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
I'm assuming your visa was, how long was your visa for?
2 years.
So your visa
Yes.
was for 2 years. Now you
Yeah.
graduated, and of course, there's always the transition from a student visa to something else. Now, I would love to know, which visa did you transition to once you've completed your student visa, and what were the qualifications and the requirements for that visa?
Yeah, so after the student visa, I applied for the 485.
Okay.
Is it the graduate visa?
Post-study graduate visa.
Yeah, post-study graduate visa. So I transitioned to 485. And I think the qualifications were, or the eligibility criteria was for you to have completed 2 years of study.
Yes.
Not less than 6 months.
Okay. Yeah.
And you also needed to have done IELTS or
yeah.
English.
English.
Yeah,
there was
They
English.
don't specify.
Yeah.
So you can do PT, you can do IELTS.
Yes.
In my case, I had done IELTS.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that is what I used to apply for
Yes.
485.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long was the visa? The 485. How long? What did they give you?
They gave me 2 years.
Okay, 2 years.
Yes.
So now you've completed your degree and your master's, and now you're in postgraduate visa. And now I think when you're there, you're trying to think about the future, right?
Yes, of course.
Now I would love to know, what were you thinking at this point, and what was your next step from while you were in 485?
So before I even got into 485,
Yeah.
I was trying to get my teacher registration.
Ah, fantastic.
I started that journey in 2019.
Okay.
And The problem was that I couldn't get information. Not most international students come here and do nursing and social work.
Yes.
So what that means is there are so many people that can guide you in those sectors and those areas and you know those professions.
Yes.
And now here I am with my education, teaching, you know, teaching qualification.
Yeah.
And I can't find
anyone to guide
me on how I can become a teacher in Australia.
Wow.
And I have even Kenyans telling me, you know, that course is gonna take you back to Kenya.
Really? Oh,
you will have to change this course to social
nursing
work
or social
or
work.
Nursing, or you have to go back to school and do nursing.
Yeah.
And in my mind, there was no space for going back to visa 500.
No way.
I was, you know, my mind was done. I didn't want to go back to school.
Yes.
So my friend and I sat down and did research on how to become a teacher in Australia if you have overseas qualification.
Yeah.
And we found a pathway.
Oh.
Yes. You know, information is there.
It is there.
But not so many people, you know, put in the work to find it.
I tell you.
Especially when it's not readily available.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and so I began to do my research, found a pathway, and followed that pathway. Yeah.
Now, this pathway is what I would love to hear about, because to be honest, I have so many inquiries on my TikTok. I have so many teachers asking me, how do I come to Australia and become a teacher with my bachelor's back in Kenya or Uganda or wherever, and sometimes, to be honest, I don't know. But I'm so glad that, and that is the main reason I had to invite you here, because I know you're a teacher, you have the Australian registration for a teacher, and you are the right person, and you have the experience. And just a disclaimer, guys, we are not migration agents. She's not a migration agent. She's just someone who's gone through this process. So anything we say here, just take it with a pinch of salt and do a lot of research on for yourself. So she's going to tell us how she went through the process, and it is you to make the decision and also do more research about it. So tell us about now. You've now done the research. What followed?
So I began the process. So when I did my research, I found out that there were 2 stages for you to get your teacher registration here in Australia if you've been overseas trained.
Yes.
And the first process was for them to accredit, or actually not accredit, but assess your qualification.
Yes.
And it's actually called initial assessment of your qualification.
Okay.
So in that stage, you send them your certificate, your transcripts, and then a letter from the university confirming that you completed teaching practice.
Okay. Yes.
For those that are from KU, that letter you can get it from the TP office.
Okay.
So I just rang them and they wrote me a letter and sent it through the email.
Okay. Yeah.
So the first stage, once you have gathered all those documents, you send them to TRB. TRB is Teacher Registration Board of South Australia. Okay. You send them, they take about 4 to 6 weeks assessing your qualification, checking whether they are credible documents.
Yes.
And then after 4 weeks and 4 to 6 weeks, you get your feedback.
Okay.
So the feedback will either be positive or negative depending on what they found out.
Okay.
So if it's positive, they will invite you to apply for teacher registration.
Okay.
So you can't just apply.
Yes.
You have to get your documents assessed first.
Yes. And
then they invite you. So it's by invitation.
By invitation.
Yeah.
Now, okay, for you to be registered, did they, let's assume you had not done your qualification here, you were just back in Kenya, could they have invited you? Do you know?
Yes.
Have you had any case?
Yeah, I've had people that have sent their assessment of qualification documents from overseas.
Yes.
And they normally do it because at that stage, what they're looking at is your qualification. They're looking at my KU certificate. Is it authentic?
Okay. Yeah.
They are looking at my transcripts.
Yes.
Did I do all the units that are required?
Okay.
They are looking at that letter.
Yes.
To check whether I have completed 60, I think it's 60 hours, no, not 60 hours, but 45 days of
Teaching
placement.
Oh, please. That is
or teaching practice, what we call it in Kenya.
Yeah.
And anyway, Kenyans will always qualify for that because we go for one-term teaching practice.
Okay.
So it's already over 45 days.
Yes.
So, but they need that letter written from the university. Yes, to show that you actually completed your teaching practice.
Okay.
So that stage is just the documents. They have nothing to do with you. It's just, you know, your documents. We want to see whether you've done all these units that we need and you know, check whether they're authentic.
Okay. And do you pay anything for them to do the initial assessment?
Yes, you do. I paid $120 at that time.
$120.
I'm not sure whether that has changed now, but my best bet is it has.
Okay, yeah, of course, the life has gone up and everything is expensive now.
Yes. So
now, and then now, once they have done their initial assessment, they invite you. Now, what do they invite you to do?
So they send you a letter inviting you for, you know, teacher registration application.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they have allowed you now to apply for teacher registration. They have, you know, they have assessed your documents.
Yes.
They have determined that you are qualified to teach.
Yes.
So the next stage is to apply for the registration number. Now, for you to apply for the registration, there are a few things that you need, and this is the second step. And the last step.
Oh, and the last step. Nice.
The second and the last step.
Yes.
So you need to do training.
Yes.
They call it RUN. So it's responding to abuse and neglect in schools.
Yes.
So that is only offered in Australia, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that's why
do you attend it physically, or you can do it online?
You can do it online. It's 7 hours. It's the 7 hours training.
Okay.
So it's offered in, there are different agencies that offer it.
Okay.
But I do not think it's being offered to people that are overseas currently.
Okay.
But I don't think people that are currently overseas are required to go to the second stage. Okay. For them to apply for skilled immigration. Okay. Yeah, but that's a story for another another day. We might talk about it. I don't like talking so much about it because I haven't gone through the process.
Gone through it. Yeah.
But if you're applying from overseas, you only need to have your IELTS. Okay. And skills assessment. And that's it. The skill assessment does not require you to be already registered.
Okay, it doesn't need you to be registered back in Kenya?
It doesn't need you to be registered overseas. It doesn't require you to be registered in Australia. So the skill assessment just checks that your English is there and your documents are, you know, you have the assessment of qualification. So that's it.
And so that means when you get your skills assessment positive and then you apply for your visa, you're coming here without a job.
Yeah.
So you're coming to hunt for the job.
Exactly.
Okay, now I get you.
Yeah. Okay. So, but because I have not gone through that process, I don't like, you know, telling people so much, telling people about it so much, because again, when you don't have all the details, it can be tricky because it involves money, involves time. Yes. And these people's lives, you don't want to misguide people.
I understand.
Yeah, so where were we?
Okay, now we were at now you're at the second stage, right?
Okay, yeah.
Now you're doing as I believe.
Yes, so
and you tell us the scores that you need.
Yes. Yeah. So you do the RUN.
Oh, training. The RUN, sorry, we were there. Yeah.
So you require the RUN training. It takes 7 hours.
Yeah. And you pay for it?
You pay for it.
Okay.
I think it's about, it should be about 100 now.
Okay. Yeah.
$100.
Yeah.
And then you also need to have your working with children check.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you also now need to have your IELTS. And this is the biggest hindrance.
I know.
It's the biggest hindrance to people who are already here and are teachers.
Yeah.
And they have done the first stage, they have their positive feedback, but they still cannot register because they haven't passed their IELTS. And with education is very tricky because for you to be a teacher, you have to do IELTS. There is also another exam that you can do, but that one only gives you the registration, but cannot give you the skill assessment.
So which one is that?
I think I believe it's called the ILRPS, if I'm not wrong. I don't even know. I didn't even look at it because I didn't even look at it because I was so fixed on doing my IELTS. Because again, I was looking, forward to getting my permanent residency. And if this other English exam was not going to give me my skill statement, then why waste my time doing it just for the registration? So I was so fixed on just doing the IELTS. So for you to qualify to be a teacher, you must do IELTS and attain 8.0 in speaking, 8.0 in listening, 7.0 in reading and writing.
Which is very, very tough, to be honest. Let's be honest.
It's
I
won't lie to you, it's really tough.
How many takes did you have?
I had 3 takes. The first take, this was my first IELTS ever. Because I might take you back. When I was coming to Australia, I wasn't asked to do English.
Oh wow.
So I didn't do English. They didn't even ask me for bank statement.
Oh wow. So the 5 million did not really.
I didn't do. I didn't do. They didn't ask for bank statement. They didn't ask for English test. So I just came. And there's so many people that told me they had to do all those things. So as I said, I'm a child of grace.
You are a child of grace because I'm wondering. Because I think at the moment, a student teacher has to do English. So I think you are really, really favored.
I was lucky.
You are lucky.
Thank God for that. So I did my first IELTS, got 7.5.
You did well. Wow.
And I was like, okay, it's not a bad test. So I went back, did it. So that was in 2019. And then in 2019, around December, I did it again. And this time I got 8.5 in speaking, 8.5 in listening, 8.0 in reading, and a 6.5 in writing.
No way!
Oh my god.
That's really...
I was so disappointed. I walked to IDP because I used to do the computer-based. So I walked to IDP.
And IDP
is the agency that people do.
Or the train, the ones you go to train, or the one where you do the test.
Where you do the test, the computer delivered test. So I walked to IDP, and I was so confident. I told them, I'm a teacher. And there is a normal curve. I can't speak at 8.5. Hi guys, and we'll now take a break. We will see you on part 2.